Today we're going to talk about dividing by tens. We have practiced mostly multiplying numbers by tens, thinking about these fast facts that we have memorized at the top. But we can also undo that and divide by tens, and it's very similar. And I want to show you some shortcuts and how you do that. Okay, so if I'm working with my multiplication fact, my basic fact, 2 times 3 equals 6, I'm holding that in my mind, and I can solve problems that are based on that. So for example, if I come across a problem, 60 divided by 2 equals some number. Well, I know that I have a 6 and I have a 2, and when I'm thinking about my fact triangle, the number that connects the 2 to the 6 is going to be 3. So I know that this number has to start with 3. So I go ahead and write 3 down, but then I look. If I undid this, does 2 times 3 equal 60? The answer is no, it equals 6. So I'm short a 10. So I need to write 30. 2 times 30 equals 60. One shortcut you can think about is that you can use your fast fact 6 divided by 2 equals 3, and then you have to make sure that this side of the equal sign and this side of the equal sign match on number of zeros. So this one has 1 extra 0, so I need 1 extra 0 over here. All right, let's try this out again. Okay, now I have 60 divided by 30. So again, this is like 6 divided by 3. I know the number should be 2. That's going to connect them. And then I need to think about this in terms of, like, if I undid it using multiplication, would the answer be 60? Is 2 times 30 60? Yes, it is. And the reason is when I divide 6 by 3, if I divide 6 tens by 3 tens, I get rid of my zeros. Those have been taken care of, and I'm just left with 2. In my first problem up here, 60 divided by 2, this 0 was not taken care of. It's still present. But when I divide a 10 by a 10, those are taken away. All right, let's look at this next one. 600 divided by 30. Okay, I have 6 and 3. So again, I know this is going to start with a 2. And then I think about this. Okay, this 0 is taking care of that 0. But I'm still left with 1 0 that is unaccounted for, and so I need that over here. So the answer is 20. Okay, last one for this one. We have 600 divided by some number equals 30. I know that some number has to start with 2 because this is what's relating all of ours. And I know that on this side, I see 1 0. And so I know that takes care of this one. But I need to take care of this 1 0 here. So it's going to be 20. Let's practice again. All right, this time we're going to use 2 times 8 equals 16. So I see this number, 160 divided by 20. So within 160, I see 16 and I see 2. I know the number that relates them is 8. And now I need to check. Is 8 times 20 160? The answer is yes. And I also know that this is correct because this 0 is taken care of by that 0, and so I don't need any more zeros. But if I move on to the next problem, 1,600 divided by 8, I still have 16 and 8, so this time I know it's going to start with a 2. That's the number that relates them. And I see that this 0 is taken care of by that 0, but I still have one more that needs to be accounted for. 80 times 20 is 1,600. Finally, 1,600 divided by 800. So I have those two are related by 2. And then I have this 0, that 0. They're all matched up. So 800 times 2 is indeed 1,600. 1,600 divided by 800 is 2. It gets a little trickier when my answer, my fast fact answer, ends in a 0. And I wanted to address that. So you kind of have to think about this as one entity. So I usually box the numbers that I care about in terms of like my fast fact numbers, okay? And then everything else is extra. All right. So I know that 40 divided by 8 is 5 because of my fast fact, but 400 divided by 8 can't be 5. I have one extra 0 here that hasn't been accounted for, so my answer is 50. For this one, I have 400 divided by 80. So I know that 40 divided by 8 is 50. Or, excuse me, 40 divided by 8 is 5. And then these two zeros are actually, they match. So I don't need anything else over here. 5 times 80 is indeed 400. I can think of this problem here. 4,000 divided by some number is 50. Okay, so I know that 40 is connected to 5 by an 8 right here. I also know that this 0 is taken care of by that 0. So I still have one extra 0 that I need to make sure the values of the tens add up. Today, what you're going to do is you have a review sheet. On this sheet, you're going to be dividing by tens, okay? And you're also going to be practicing some break apart. This sheet is going to be on our website, but it's also going to be a template in Seesaw, so you can do it directly in Seesaw or you can print it out and upload it to Seesaw. It's up to you. The one thing I do want to remind you guys of is if you're working on an iPad, oftentimes this is not an option in terms of a key, or even on your computer, you can't find that key if you're typing in. This slash, which is above or below the question mark on a keyboard, is the same thing as divide. So if I wrote this, that means 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Good luck.